Tell me, Rook, how is it that you ended up suffering the torture of being a child left in the care of my mother? I was horrified when I learned of your existence. Just knowing there was another little girl being raised by that crone, after my own experience of such, was the farthest thing from pleasant. What did she intend for you?
When you ditched the plan she had for you and ran off with the hero of Ferelden, she needed a replacement. I was her plan B in the event you did not return. And I turned out to be an even poorer choice. I was a loudmouthed girl that was too rebellious. And I had no interest in laying with men just because she said so. She said there was something wrong with me and she had to fix me with blood magic. I told her there wasn't anything wrong with me and she should fix herself with blood magic. She insisted a few times and I told her to go fuck herself. She may have done just that. I don't know.
You told Flemeth this to her face?
Yes, and I was shocked. She did nothing beyond calling me a degenerate, which wasn't too bad. That was the thing. You had to get her so freaking angry for her to back off. That was the trick. It was like it caused her brain to malfunction or something.
I'd have loved to see her plans just fall apart like that. Just so you know, Flemeth was wrong. There was absolutely nothing wrong with you. Of all the things my mother had rejected in the way of social norms, she was never willing to break free from the chains of tradition when it could be exploited. I can imagine she was not quick to let it go when you told her this.
She wouldn't stop nagging me about the blood magic. It was infuriating. It's like she couldn't grasp not being into men. She would bring it up constantly. I told her she was the one who needed to be fixed because it was like a perversion with her. She was just so obsessed. It got to the point when the only thing I said to her was, fuck you, fuck off, and go F yourself.
Flemeth, who was such an evil, powerful, and ancient sorceress, being thwarted at every turn by a child that was, what, a 30th her age? It's just too much. It's hilarious in the worst way. Oh my God, how that must have driven her mad.
Did you not try cursing at her? I'm telling you, it worked. Only thing that did, it was like the outright blatant lack of respect caused her to shut down completely, like a hex or something.
No, the idea of her being shut down like that by a curse word, it is just too much. I can't. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
It had to be the right one. Not all curse words worked equally. Once I found the right one, it was such a powerful tool. She was like, girl, I'm hungry, go cook something. I'd say, fuck off, and the conversation ended right there. And she would sulk. She would get so mopey afterwards.
Oh my God, this is just too damn much. She sulked. It's just so damn funny. Oh my God.
The look on her face, I wish you could have seen it.
Oh, I wish I could have too. The absolute shock, the rage, the utter helplessness. It's too damn perfect.
I didn't look at her quite the same after that. It was impossible once the luster was gone, and the bane of her entire existence revealed to be words. And just like that, a child wielding nothing but a foul mouth managed to slay the miserable old crone with words.
No, I don't think I'd ever be able to look at Flemeth the same either, and I bet she couldn't look at you the same. Not after that. Not after it turned out a child had destroyed her and all her power and just rendered her senseless with a few choice words. It is just too damn funny.
I do wonder if maybe that's why she was down in that freaking swamp hiding. She was fleeing dreaded curse words.
Flemeth, the Witch of the Wilds, old god and powerful sorceress, was on the run from the curse words of a little girl. It's just too much. Oh my God. That must be it. That must be it exactly. It can't be anything else.
I just don't understand what her deal was with those particular words in general that sent her into a cowering, sniveling frenzy. It was bizarre.
The idea that my mother would be reduced to a cowering, sniveling frenzy at anything, but especially at curse words. I don't understand it myself. I really don't. Just how a child's curse could do that. But that's exactly why it's so damn funny. It's baffling and hilarious.
There was something wrong with her on a level beyond all reasoning. I used to wonder if she was possessed by a demon of dementia or something similar. It was like her entire being was set on just confusing everyone.
The idea of Flemeth being possessed by something and it being a demon of Dementia? It's just hilarious, the idea of this horrible creature of immense power being possessed by something so mundane and yet so damn dangerous. That must be it. She must have been possessed by a demon of dementia. It's so ridiculous and outlandish and just plain ridiculous, yet the idea has a ring of truth to it.
You know, a few years back, the swamp had this major increase of blood lotus. So much, it was like a red carpet releasing clouds of toxin everywhere. Anyway, I knew how it made people hallucinate, so I avoided it. Dementia demon Flemeth wouldn't listen. She thought she could shape change into a dragon and she would be fine to drink from the swamp because going further for water was just too much trouble. Well, she was wrong. Have you ever seen an inebriated dragon? Because I have, and it was something, really something.
Oh my God. I'm afraid to ask, but I have to ask. What did an inebriated Flemeth in dragon form look like?
Ridiculous. She flew up a few feet, we're talking 15 feet tops, and crashed down. She crawled herself over to those ruins right behind the hut, you know, the one, and lounged around, got bored to get up, couldn't, and she swung that tail so much trying to get up, she took a wall out of the side of her hut. It was so loud, all that thumping and stumbling.
That is just great. How I wish I was there to have seen it, even if only just to mock the miserable old wretch, while knowing she couldn't do a damn thing about it. What happened after?
She gave up trying and laid there broody for a few days, which was the first time in a few hundred years that the residents of the swamp were free from her torment. That was when I discovered my love for pelting dementia dragon Flemeth with rocks. They would bounce right off her snout, and she couldn't even hold up her head long enough to do more than let out a croak. And it was a croak! She was typical Flemeth, even as a dragon. You know, I told her once she was a miserable old crone that couldn't cook, and the only pleasure she got in her long, miserable life was from badgering children. And I flung pebbles at her while she was in dragon form, just because I could. And it was incredibly satisfying, and I have no regrets.
Of course you would throw rocks at her. That sounds like the sort of thing you'd do. And knowing my mother, she was even more insulted by that than the curse words. You certainly managed to annoy her at every turn. She just couldn't find a way to get you to stop. And I wouldn't regret it either.
Yes, and it was true, every word. She was miserable, she couldn't cook, and the only thing she ever loved was tormenting children. Nothing brought her as much satisfaction as tormenting me. And the only thing I loved about her was how satisfying it was to annoy her.
She most certainly was miserable and cruel, and she was certainly bad at cooking, but she must have had at least some fondness for you. She did have the option to leave you behind to fend for yourself in the wilderness after all.
She did try, or at least she let me think she had. I'm telling you, it was the curse words. She was afraid I'd get caught by Templar hunters and tell them having a child curse at the great and powerful Witch of the Wilds was her one true weakness.
Wait, so she was always afraid you would rat her out for that one little weakness? That's just too goddamn funny. Of course she was so worried that you'd give her away, and after all these years you finally revealed that you never really knew how well her weakness actually worked. Oh, how I wish I knew all those years ago.
What was the deal with her being so damn reluctant to give us her approval? The more I think on it, it feels like it was intentional, like she wanted us starving, salivating, and frothing at the mouth for her approval. And on the rare occasions when she felt like giving us a little, all she did was toss us scraps, just enough to sustain us, no more and no less.
Eagerly drooling for mother's approval is not an image I'm particularly fond of. But you are absolutely right, and it's hard to admit that, yes, she did do nothing most of the time except criticize, but when she did give out praise of any sort, you had to work even harder to get more of it. It was like she got you hooked and willing to do almost anything for just another taste of approval.
Her approval was like a drug that people become mindless fiends set on acquiring it at any cost. Like Templars and lyrium, or, I don't know, blood mages and their addictions to blood magic.
Yes, it was a drug. Something I couldn't get enough of. She always had me trying even harder, always trying to earn her approval, always just hoping, which of course never happened. She was always withholding her approval. Nothing you did was ever good enough. I can't say how many times I felt so inadequate, just trying even harder to measure up.
So what exactly are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do? Do about what?
The Flemeth. You know, they did find whatever it was that was left of her. We could go and fling eggs at it or something. I mean, she always went on about immaturity. So why not go all out and be really immature while working out some of those issues?
Oh, that's so incredibly tempting. Even after all these years, I still have to admit it would be satisfying.
Oh my God, we could go put up a memorial for her. I mean, like this loving tribute that she would have hated so much more. Like put all these wonderful, sickeningly sweet stories about her, really flip those terrifying tales of her upside down, those terrifying stories about her that she was always so freaking proud of.
Oh my God, that is the best idea. She would hate it. She would be furious. The greatest villain in history getting a memorial? Oh, I love that she would hate it so much.
Although we would be risking her manifesting again in all her rage and fury.
Oh God, that is true. I suppose it would be worth it to see her reaction to it, especially if we made sure it was in a very public area.
As much as I'm all for pissing off that old hag, I'm not sure how much I'd like having to lug that statue she was turned into back somewhere public, though.
No, that thing can stay in its little underground hidey hole. We'll build her a nice new memorial, one that is just so incredibly nauseatingly sweet that it's almost an insult.
To Flemeth, it would be the greatest insult of them all.
Oh, that is perfect. She would hate it. She would be so furious. I am absolutely loving this idea.
We could even get a few chantry sisters to attend. Wait, a priest! We have to have a priest!
Oh, that is perfect. Yes, we absolutely need a priest to do the entire ceremony. We can see about having a choir too.
Yes, they would have to sing the chant of light. Sure, it would be difficult to stomach it, but for her, I think I could manage.
Oh, we are going to drive her insane if we do this. Absolutely insane. It's perfect.
Wait, you know the divine, don't you?
Yes, I do know her. I can easily get her to agree to this. You do realize, of course, that this will require a huge amount of planning if we are to pull this off.
You really think you could get the divine to do this? I didn't think you and her saw eye to eye on anything.
Oh, that's an understatement. We don't see eye to eye on a single thing. But I think I can appeal to a shared hatred we would both have of Flemeth. I think I could get her to agree to help. And if I can't, and as much as I am reluctant to ask, I could always have my charming husband ask her. She cannot say no to the hero of Ferelden. We could pull this off. It would be so worth it.
Even if she's convinced, she will probably want you to convert and declare yourself Andrestian and make a big show of it. You know this.
I do know, and frankly, I think it would be worth having to endure a priest try to convert me, if it meant pulling this off and completely humiliating Flemeth and making her absolutely hate everything about it. Do you think we could get the King of Ferelden to attend as well?
You might need to stop calling him the Simpleton King. Think you can manage that?
Fine. I will agree to stop calling him the Simpleton King if it means his cooperation to make this happen, but I'm not calling him Your Majesty. It would be so much more infuriating to her seeing him there, and you can be certain my warden will be there. Which she would find all the more maddening with how much my mother hated the idea of marriage, and for the fact he did try to slay her.
She was so angry when she found out you married the hero of Ferelden. She wouldn't shut up about it. She was more angry about that than she was when you asked him to try to kill her. But she is dead. Not sure she can see much of anything, but it's the thought that counts.
I am well aware she can't see it. I just like the idea of her knowing somewhere from the grave that this is happening, and that she can't do a damn thing about it.
Do you really think you could manage it, though? Having to endure listening to so much chantry foolishness. Hasn't she tortured you enough?
Yes. I would have to be subjected to a lot of chantry foolishness for this to happen. I don't particularly like the idea of it. But it would be so worth it to see Flemeth's reaction, and even if I can't see her reaction, just knowing what it would be, That and that alone I would be willing to endure a great deal of chantry nonsense for.
I really hate to say it, but what if death is just that, an end? Like there's nothing afterwards, no thought, no seeing, no knowing anything. Which would really make it seem like we'd be going through all this chantry torture for nothing.
Ugh, don't even say that. She has to be aware of it somehow. She could be watching. And she would be angry and she can't do a damn thing about it. But yes, unfortunately I see your point, and I would agree with you under most circumstances, but this is Flemeth we're talking about. And with my mother, there is always a possibility.
True, she did enjoy watching and plotting far too much to give it up, even in death. Really, the only thing I am sure of without any doubt is how much Flemeth would hate that we're even talking about this.
Okay, but just so we're clear, I'm doing this, but only because I know Flemeth would be absolutely furious with it.
You could see about having her posthumously converted to Andrestian. I'm pretty sure they do that. All the worst religions, desperate to count anyone of importance among their list of followers, will force even the dead to convert.
Oh, come on now. That is just cruel and wrong, and she would absolutely hate it. That's almost as bad as if we had the divine herself do the entire service, which I have every intention of attempting to see it done.
Just be ready to make some major sacrifices there. You know the divine, she's going to make demands, and won't even consider doing it until those demands are met.
And just how much sacrifice are we talking about here?
If I had to guess, I'd say she'll probably make you pay penance, and she'll definitely force you to recite the chant in its entirety. But hey, you're the one that knows her.
Oh, yes, she probably will demand I recite the chant, and make it as long and drawn out as humanly possible. I really have to consider if the desire to humiliate my mother is worth the price of my own sanity. And I think it absolutely is.
So, what is the divine actually like? I know I've heard things, but you actually know her.
She's what you'd expect. Very devout, extremely dedicated. It's hard to believe the insipid bard would one day be the divine. Besides that, she's just a good woman. She cares about people, she's kind, she really is a very good person. Just very, very, very chantry. Oh, I do have one very interesting thing about her. You won't believe this, but the divine has an absolute fascination with nugs. I'm serious, the woman is addicted to them. Don't believe me? Just watch the way she acts around them. She can't help herself.
Nugs? Really? You mean those weird bunny pig things with hands that the dwarves treat as a delicacy in Orzammar? Seriously?
I'm quite serious. It is truly something to behold the head of the Chant of Light reduced to a giggling, swooning mess at the sight of swine with rabbit ears. She just loses it.
So all anyone needs to do to overthrow the chantry would be to drop a few crates filled with nugs around the Grand Cathedral?
Now you are being absolutely evil, but you did just come up with a brilliant idea. If all the Grand Clerics saw the head of the chantry giggling and gushing over nugs, I'd bet her authority and influence would take quite a serious hit.
I can't believe you haven't already done it, considering you're not what one would consider a chantry fanatic. Still, I can't get over she's that into nugs, though. Oof.
Oh, she's a full-blown crazy nug lady. We could absolutely use this to our advantage. If we play it right, we could actually embarrass the divine with nugs.
Just how crazy? Are we talking time to call a physician batshit crazy?
Well, she is completely obsessed with them and cannot help gushing over nugs and has to pet and snuggle them. She's totally addicted and gives them the worst cutesy names I've ever heard. During the 5th blight, she had one as a pet with a name so stupid no one could say it without dying in laughter, and I never understood why she was so offended by this.
F the maker! She is a batshit crazy nug lady! Whoever would have thought it could be that easy to remove the leader of the chantry and overthrow the most powerful religious institution in the world? Can you imagine the way it would be written about in the history books?
It would be absolutely glorious, and future historians would remember it fondly. We could do it with minimal effort. We could overthrow the entire chantry with nugs.
To think, all this time, people have tried all kinds of complex ways to go about ending the chantry, and here it is, a simple solution, if not an insane one. Little rabbit-eared swine.
Oh, that is just so wonderful, so unbelievably hilarious. The chantry has been invincible, the strongest religious institution in the world. They have controlled everything from the politics to the handling of mages, and all this time, all we needed was a few strategically placed crates of squealing nugs.
We really should be looking at this from another angle. We could use nugs to bribe the divine to do this memorial service for Flemeth. That would get you out of having to declare yourself Andrastian. And with the service going on, we arranged to have a few boxes of stray nugs accidentally delivered.
Oh yes, now this is absolutely perfect. We can make it work. Just a few boxes of squealing nugs, all of them the dwarven food variety, and claim we rescued them personally, and really appeal to the sympathies of the divine. She will devolve into a giggling, gushy mess. She won't be able to resist us or force me to partake in her foolish religious practices.
And that is how we pull off a really sickeningly sweet memorial for Flemeth. Flemeth would hate it, and the chantry would fall, although wait, maybe Flemeth would actually love it.
Oh, now don't you even start thinking about... I am absolutely not wanting to think about the remote possibility that this is somehow exactly what Flemeth would want. She would have been planning this from beyond the grave. If even the smallest thing goes wrong, if this all turns out to be exactly what she orchestrated, I will be completely furious.